National Geographic reports that 80% of travelers visit just 10% of the world's tourism destinations. By 2030, worldwide tourist numbers will reach 1.8 billion, up from 1.5 billion in 2019. An offshoot of this is that there has been a constant rise of tourists trooping to some European countries. This has caused the issue of over-tourism, which has impacted these countries both positively and negatively. These countries and cities have begun adopting a complex and multifaceted approach to manage the impact of mass tourism. These approaches aren't about completely shutting out visitors, but rather about implementing sustainable practices to balance the benefits of tourism with the preservation of local culture, environment, and residents' quality of life. The challenge of over-tourism. Over-tourism has been a growing concern in many of Europe's popular destinations. Cities like Venice, Barcelona, and Amsterdam have experienced a massive influx of tourists, often outnumbering the local population during peak seasons. This surge has led to various problems, including environmental degradation, pressure on infrastructure, and disruption of local communities. Venice, Italy, a city of 50,000 residents, receives up to 140,000 visitors daily. This has threatened the city's delicate ecosystem, prompting the local government to introduce measures like a tourist tax and limiting the number of cruise ships allowed to dock. "We must and can live from tourism, but we don't want to die from it," says an outraged activist, however, acknowledging both the significant financial resource tourism attracts, as well as its negative impact on the environment, cost of living, and quality of life. In 2023, Spain welcomed a record number of 85 million visitors, a lot of whom went to Barcelona. Hotels in the city quadrupled between 1990 and 2023 to accommodate a rush of travelers, which surged from 1.7 million to 7.8 million during the same period, according to the Barcelona City Council. This doesn't include the millions who traveled to the city's outskirts too, it notes. The city also buckles under the weight of the Barcelona cruise port as day trippers descend on the city by the thousands. The port processed about 2.2 million passengers in 2023, up from 560,000 in 2000, according to the council's website. As a result of these, many locals can no longer afford the cost of living, most notably because of the housing market, where rents have increased 68% over the past decade, according to Barcelona's mayor, Jaume Collboni. Also, many residents now avoid many areas around the city center, including Plaça Catalunya, La Rambla, Gothic Quarter, Raval, Old Town, Waterfront, as well as the Sagrada Familia area. Park Güell tops the list of areas deliberately avoided. Recently, protesters in Barcelona threw items and sprayed travelers with water guns and canned drinks, while shouting "Tourists go home." The protesters, angry about the city's long-standing problems with over-tourism, used thick police-style tape to block hotel entrances and sidewalk cafes in the small neighborhood of Barceloneta in a symbolic effort to close the establishments. The crowd, which numbered about 3,000 people, also marched holding a large banner demanding that city officials decrease tourists now. People increasingly believe that Barcelona has reached its tourism capacity limit. In the Netherlands, as part of the fight against mass tourism, Amsterdam will no longer allow new hotel buildings to be built. Amsterdam, with a total population of 800,000 people, attracts up to 20 million tourists a year. "We want to make and keep the city livable for residents and visitors. This means no over-tourism, no new hotels, and no more than 20 million hotel overnight stays by tourists per year," the local government said. In 2023, the Amsterdam City Council voted to ban cruise ships and close its cruise terminal. The city also banned the use of marijuana on public streets in the red light district and ended guided tours that passed by sex workers' windows. Amsterdam has earned a raunchy reputation as Europe's most liberal party capital, and now, the city is trying to clean up its image. A new series of measures is being implemented to maintain the quality of life in Amsterdam, while working to prevent tourism that causes nuisances. The city council banned cruise ships from its city center in July 2023 to prevent over-tourism in its most popular areas. In May 2023, it banned smoking cannabis in its red light district. And in March 2023, it launched a Stay Away digital campaign targeting men aged 18 to 35 in the UK, attempting to curb visitors coming for drugs, alcohol, and sex. "Visitors will remain welcome, but not if they misbehave and cause nuisance," said Deputy Mayor Sofiane Mbarki in a statement. Many locals are also fed up with disruptive tourists and endless crowds, and billboards featuring photos of residents now remind visitors we live here. In France, one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, welcoming about 100 million tourists per year, the situation is not different. In 2023, France announced that it will be carrying out a strategy to reduce visitor numbers. The government's announcement came as Paris, which is grappling with a housing shortage in part because homeowners prefer short-term rentals to tourists, said it got 37 million tourists in 2022. French Tourism Minister Olivier Grégoire said that the policy is in response to threats to the environment, the quality of life for locals, and the experiences for its visitors. Over-tourism has apparently been much more of a problem in France since the pandemic, with the issue being that tourist sites are overwhelmed by visitors who don't actually spend much time or money in them. As such, local communities are finding that they don't have the funds to support themselves. As of 2022, some popular visitor spots in France had already started taking action to reduce visitor numbers. Marseille's Calanque National Park has a reservation system that limits daily visitors to its famed Sugaton Coves to just 400 visitors. First enforced during the pandemic, the restrictions on visitor numbers will be kept in place for at least 5 years. The island of Bréhat in Brittany, meanwhile, has started capping daily visitor numbers at 4,700. These popular attractions aren't necessarily trying to reduce overall visitor numbers, but spread them more evenly throughout the year. In Athens, Greece, in an effort to keep hordes of tourists from ruining the ruins in Greece, Athens' most famous landmark, the Acropolis, has started limiting visitors. A booking website was created to keep track of tourists at the Acropolis while enforcing an hourly time slot to tackle overcrowding and preserve the archaeological site, which dates back to the 5th century BC. The system caps Acropolis visits to 20,000 tourists a day and is now used at other Greek sites. Access will be granted to 3,000 visitors between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., followed by 2,000 each subsequent hour. Greek culture minister Lina Mendoni said the Acropolis, which sits on a rocky hill in Athens and houses a collection of ruins, structures, and artifacts including the Parthenon temple, dedicated to the goddess Athena, currently sees up to 23,000 visitors a day, which she called an enormous number. The tourists create bottlenecks and unpleasant conditions for the site, the visitors, and the staff who are trying to accommodate this high volume of people, Mendoni added. Europe's strategy to reject tourists is not about exclusion, but about creating a sustainable model for tourism that respects the environment, preserves cultural heritage, and improves the quality of life for residents. By implementing these measures, European destinations hope to continue welcoming visitors while ensuring that tourism remains a positive force for both the local and global community. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this.